Cleveland hockey fans, 10 years later, welcome back to Rocket Arena, your 2016 Calder Cup champion, Lake Erie Monsters. Please welcome athletic trainer, past and present, Tom Borden. In goal, number 30, your current goaltending coach, it's Brad Thiessen. At forward, number 13, assistant captain and your current head coach, Trent Vogelhuber. On defense, number 6, welcome back to Cleveland, Michael Paliota. On defense, number 5, John Ramage. At forward, number 39, Michael Chaput. On defense, welcome back, number 44, Justin Falk. On defense, number 23, Steve Eminger. And on defense, assistant captain and the first to receive the cup from Ryan Craig, welcome back, number 26, Jamie Seifer. Let's hear it, Rocket Arena, 10 years later for the team that ended a 52-year drought, your 2016 Calder Cup champion, Lake Erie Monsters! Welcome, fans, to another edition of Monsters OT, presented by Century Federal Credit Union, only here on Rock Sports. Big show today, but what a way to begin. That was a pregame ceremony from Lake Erie Monsters Weekend, a very special promotion for the Monsters, celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the 2016 Calder Cup champs. Great to welcome back the alumni. The fans were into it. Nearly 31,000 of them came out to Rocket Arena over the course of a couple of games we're going to talk about in just a minute. But a big rest of the show, including more from that weekend at the end of things here, is Jamie Seifers, one of those great players from that team, read the starting lineup in the dressing room prior to the second game that weekend, so we'll see that a little bit later in the show. But let's begin where we always do. It's time for headlines. And we'll welcome Brad Thiessen into the mix here on Monsters OT. And Thies, let's start. Lake Erie Monsters Weekend, of course, you were on that team, and you were with your former teammates. Before we get into the two games, what did it mean to you to have that achievement, those memories, that team remembered?
Yeah, it was awesome. Just to see those guys, haven't seen a lot of them for almost all those 10 years. To see them back again, be able to reminisce. Have the fans be able to reminisce as well for those who were here for that run. Just a real special weekend. Yeah, like no time had passed at all. Let's get into the first game of that weekend, Friday, January the 30th, as this was a 6-5 win against Belleville, in which it was, a game that almost slipped away a couple of different times, but multi-point performances from 4 different guys and 14,500 plus in the building. Found a way to get a win, and that's the name of the game. Yeah, if you're a fan of goals this weekend, you saw a lot of them. So the Monsters have been involved in a lot, but again, you see guys like Corson Coolemans, Jack Williams, younger players who are really starting to get a lot of confidence on the offensive side of the puck. Owen Sillinger with a couple more points in that game, Mikhail Putia as well. Let's hear from Trent Vogelhuber, the head coach. He spoke post-game about his thoughts on his team's performance.
I thought energy was just a little bit low. I mean, guys pushed with what they had. I just, We get back at 3:30 a couple nights ago, and then ramping it back up today. Like that 2 nights of sleep, 2 days before that night of sleep's important, and I just felt it like it affected us a little bit today. But we pushed, and then little up and down, I guess, with some defensive details there, and you never want to give up 5, but good start to the game, and all 4 lines and 60, I thought, had moments where they contributed, and it's pretty good depth on our roster right now with all the players we have, good players that are sitting out, and so yeah, well, we're going to take a huge 2 points there, hopefully clean a couple things up and get our legs back under us a little bit tomorrow, and try to get the next one.
Yeah, pretty resilient effort in that game. And then the next night, a rematch against the Belleville Senators. Remember, these, despite the pomp and circumstance, were really important games, Brad. They're games against division opponents, teams you're jostling with in the standings here. You get one, that's great, but you need both to really capitalize.
Yeah, it's not easy. Once you beat a team the first night, that team is going to come back with a big push in night 2, but Monsters able to hold it off and get a huge 2 points.
So in the second game, it was another 6-5 final score. This time it took overtime, but the D-Corps down at for a good chunk of the game to just 4 skaters really contributed, including Dyson Mayo with the OT winner, Luca Del Bel Belluz, 3 more points, Brendan Gaunce with a 3-point night as well, and 16,278 fans were there. Largest crowd of the year, 7th largest in the history of the team. It was a great special night and one last chance to remember the title.
Yeah, some uneasy moments in that one. Up 5-2 going to the third period, only to have to go to overtime to get the win. But you see a great effort here by Dyson Mayo and send everyone home happy. Yeah,
and it was also a 4-0 lead in there at 1.2. So some ongoing issues, but post-game, let's go to Dyson Mayo. He talked about his breakaway OT winner.
It's kind of a bobbled puck at the blue line there, so I jumped past and missed it, but Gaunce was right there to pick it up, so I just went for the breakaway, and he made a good play to get it to me, and then I just kind of tried to get a shot on that. That guy had good pressure on me, so luckily it went in.
4 lines for the majority of the game. I felt good about all of them, and anybody can score, and you never know where it's coming from. So that's a beautiful thing to have as a coach, and it takes a little time to adjust. Like, some guys are in little different roles, little lesser roles, and it takes some time for me to figure out who's going in what position with some new players in there. But depth is good to have. Depth is good to have. It makes everybody better.
Not satisfied, though. Trent Vogelhuber there. He spoke to us in the broadcast after the game, talking about cleaning up the situation with holding leads. We've seen it crop up over the course of multiple weeks.
Yeah, it has, and it's something that you want to learn some of those lessons during the regular season, so when you get to playoffs, you're able to really lock it down. But that's something that Monsters will be looking to clean up.
Let's take a look at what the North Division looks like now in the wake of those 2 big wins over Belleville for Cleveland. So we'll take a look at the division standings here, and it's still the Laval Rocket pacing the division with 56 points. But now Cleveland joins a group right in that second tier, 6 points out of first. Syracuse, Toronto have the tiebreakers. Cleveland currently in 4th place, but tied in that point column and creating some separation between Rochester and Belleville.
Yeah, that huge 5-game win streak right now is looming large, getting a lot of points in the standings and pushing them up into the next kind of group there. So keep that roll going, and Laval is within sight.
5 straight games with a win, 6 straight games with a point for this Monsters team, and it will be a sprint to the All-Star break here with 3 more games remaining on the schedule between now and Luca Del Bel Belluz's trip to Rockford for the All-Star Classic. We're talking Tuesday the 3rd against Toronto at 7 o'clock, and then 2 games in Laval against the Rocket at 7 and 3 o'clock on the 6th and 7th of February. You can catch all that action on Sports Radio 99.1, but division game, huge opportunity.
Huge opportunity, and always fun going up to Laval, playing at Place Bell. One of the greatest atmospheres besides Rocket in the league, but great opportunity in the standings to make some ground.
And some playoff history between those 2 teams as well, so excited for those games. Let's talk now about a big headline for Cleveland, and that's the return of Brendan Gaunce to the American Hockey League level. He'd been the captain for the Monsters this year since late November with Columbus, but came back, an immediate impact, 2 games played, 4 points, had a game-winning goal in there too, and he just really changes everything up front.
Yeah, he's a huge addition to the team. Obviously, off the ice, leadership-wise, just his presence in the locker room, and then on the ice, everything that he does, winning face-offs, on the penalty kill, on the power play, And as you saw offensively, really did a nice job this weekend.
Yes, 6 goals, 10 points, 14 games at the American League level after a good chunk in the NHL with the Jackets, 25 appearances. Great to have the captain back in Cleveland. Now let's take a look at a rookie player making a huge impact already, and that's Luca Morelli. He's only appeared in 6 games so far this season, but he's got 4 points. He's quarterbacking the top power play. He was killing penalties this most recent weekend, and this kid looks like the real deal to me.
Yeah, he's got a ton of confidence with that puck on his stick. He's really gifted offensively, a really high hockey IQ, really sees the game well. Defensively, he's going to learn some things at this level that's a little bit different than junior, but he's been put in some offensive situations and he's thrived already.
With the team getting healthier, depth is something that certainly is there for Cleveland right now. And in fact, there's competition just to get into the lineup. 17 forwards right now on the roster and 8 defensemen. Trent Vogelhuber spoke to us recently about an extra tool in his toolbox now, and that is holding players accountable because you have more guys available to play.
I think that's the best thing for a team is to have depth, and it just keeps players honest. It's the best tool, right? Like is playing time and playing. So we definitely don't want to make it seem, like where you make one mistake and you're out of the lineup. But with that being said, if you're not, there's not a lot of leeway for lack of focus, lack of competitiveness, those things that are non-negotiable, and we've got players waiting in the wings, anxious to play, and we have to do our part to keep as many of them as involved. Quite honestly, regardless of the outcome, we have to make sure we're keeping people involved at this point of the season. But it's the best thing. It's what brings out the best in players, is knowing that there's not a big safety net there for them. Like you got to play, or somebody else is going in to get the job done. And
well, that is great insight from Trent, and good news for everybody. Competition equals sharpened play, I think, for everybody involved. Quick look at the injury report as we cap off headlines here. Corson Kuhlman's banged up during Lake Erie Monsters weekend, hoping for the best there. Riley Bizot's been out a while up front. Then you've got Guillaume Richard missing 2 games, although he's back and practicing now with the team. So getting a little bit healthier here, we hope, and injuries have been, at least lately, less of a factor.
Yeah, you see here, Corson Kuhlman, 10 seconds into that game, taking a pretty nasty hit from Hayden Hodgson, but that D-corps stepped up. All 5 of them played a ton of minutes on Saturday night.
Sure did. That's it for headlines. We'll take a break. When we come back, more Monsters OT presented by Century Federal Credit Union. Cool piece with Corson Kuhlman's. We'll remember a little bit more about the championship 10 years ago and say so long. It's all straight ahead on Rock Sports. Welcome back to Monsters OT, presented by Century Federal Credit Union here on Rock Sports. Tony Brown back with you. Time now to take a look at a cool piece with Corson Kuhlman's. We're calling The Home Team, presented by Rocket. We know no hockey player can get anywhere in their career without the support of their family, and Corson exemplifies that.
I'm going to just get you guys in frame and do a quick audio check, and then I think we should be good to go.
I can go no hat too.
Yeah, I think no hat's better.
No hat? That's all good.
You wanna, there's only one.
As long as it's not sticking up anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
You can press play when you're ready.
I think home is where the heart is, I guess. Growing up in Beaumont, Alberta, kind of a small town. We really only had like one hockey team at every level that was competitive. So I grew up playing there. My dad coached me my whole life. All my buddies are from there. I had a great setup in my garage when I was growing up. My dad is a little grumpy at me now just from all the holes I put in the wall and all the tools I've broken with his. I broke his miter saw one time. He was not too happy about that. And I had a setup just where I was able to work on my skills and, small areas and stick handle and just be a kid and have fun playing hockey. Like, at all hours of the day when I would get home from school, or if I'd have my buddies over, like we would go right to the garage and play hockey. And I think they would say my favorite thing is just hanging out with my friends and hanging out with my family. Going out to the lake. My dad, he's a big boater. Our family's a big boat family, so we like to go out to the lake and spend time out there. But yeah, I think friends and family, just doing any activities really with them is what's most important to me. I just want to say, Mom and Dad, thank you so much for everything you've done for me. I don't think I'd be in this spot without your guys' love and support. You guys have been huge pillars to lean on for me, and home is very important to me. It's got a very special place in my heart, just going back there every summer and hanging out with my family and hanging out with my friends and being able to go to the rink and reflect on some of the memories I've had there, and like championships we've won and games we might have lost that have we should have won. So yeah, home is very important.
Back again on Monsters OT, presented by Century Federal Credit Union here on Rock Sports. Tony Brown with you. We've been talking a lot about the recent Lake Erie Monsters weekend presented by the Cleveland Museum of Natural History and all our memories from 10 years ago when the team claimed the Calder Cup. Well, one person was instrumental in that run, and sadly we lost him during that quest for a championship, and that's legendary Cleveland equipment manager Phil Simon. Let's hear from members of that team about what Phil meant to them.
Well, Phil was just a real good, genuine human being who was a part of the Cleveland hockey lore. He'd been around, his family was around it. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to see it through with us, and yet we knew he was with us. We knew he was a part of what we were doing. His family was around. It was a special time to be a part of, like I said, the sports scene in Cleveland. But when you have people like Phil and Phil Simon's family that are around, it was just some extra motivation for us to see it through.
It's kind of galvanizing. A guy who'd been here was like a big teddy bear for us. We'd all gotten to know him. None of us, coming from Springfield knew him, but took us in open arms, kind of, this grumpy in a way, but friendly in a way that everybody loved. And he was just loved hockey, loved the team. And then he became part of the family really, really quick. That's his personality.
Phil kept things light. He had us all keep things in perspective, and it was a terrible loss when it came, but we were happy to get the championship for a million reasons, but one of the big ones was in Phil's memory.
Phil was with us all the time, and obviously he was the man. He knew everyone. He's been there forever, and he welcomed me with open arms, and he was the grandfather of our whole team, and he was looking after everyone. And obviously when he got sick, and he still had the energy to come to the rink. And we just tried to play for him and make a great memory for him.
Calling into the locker room to say hi before, after games was pretty cool, so that he was still a part of that run. And then after we won as a team, getting on the bus and going to the funeral and celebrating his life and what he meant to his family, and just being able to be there for them at that moment too as a team. I thought was a pretty cool moment as well.
I just remember while he was sick towards the end, Kreger taking a phone call. There was a hardwire phone in the locker room. I don't think it's there anymore. Quick 30 or minute phone call, wishing us good luck, telling us to go get him. And so that was galvanizing for us as another thing, and kind of win it for Phil. And I think it was really meaningful to win just the way that it happened, just a couple weeks after he passed, and we were able to take the Calder Cup to his funeral with his family. And yeah, we miss him, but it was we were definitely proud of the fact that we were able to get that done for him.
We are back on Monsters OT, presented by Century Federal Credit Union here on Rock Sports. Brad Thiessen back with me here. I'm Tony Brown. Tease, to wrap things up, we're going to see some video here in a minute, and everyone's going to get to know Jamie Seifers, one of your old teammates. The team this year got to know him too, but tell everybody what they're in for here. What kind of a competitor, a leader was Jamie Seifers?
Yeah, Jamie Seifers was a heart and soul type of player, a guy on the back end that he was willing to do anything for the team, whether it was a fight, a block shot, a big hit, and he was in the locker room firing guys up, as you can see in the video, but he was just an awesome teammate and someone I'll always remember.
Now, knowing Sipes, I'm sure he had a lot of fun with this, but let's take a look at him reading the starting lineup to the team in the room prior to the game on the 31st of January.
Hey, listen, what a treat it is to be here watching you boys. All right, I got chills looking at the jerseys you're wearing. We win the cup like Bogey, one of my favorite teammates of all time. I would jump in front of a train for this guy. All right, now you need to do it for each other as well. Right? These guys coming into your home barn, packed house. Right? Get the points, tight division. Let's go. All right. I'm gonna read through this lineup real quick, and we'll just get fired up after. All right. Silly, Huns, Rosie up front. Hey. C-Mac, Pool, Sawsy the pipe. Yes, sir!
Great stuff. I mean, it's fun for the fans. It's fun for all of us staffers, but it looks like it was fun for the players, too, to come back and be a part of this there. And big ups to Jeremy Hawks on the bleeps there throughout that whole thing. But, man, it honestly meant a lot, it seemed like, at least, to the alums.
Oh, those guys were so excited to be back here. I mean, myself and Trent, we've been here since then, so for them to come back to the city, the rink, the locker room, watching the games, it was like old times again.
Yeah, and to have that kind of fan support, too, truly special. Lake Erie Monsters weekend was great, and a big thanks to the Cleveland Museum of Natural History for making that great weekend possible. Well, that's it for another edition of Monsters OT. We've got some thank yous to hand out, as always. First to Century Federal Credit Union, and of course to all of the former players who made it back for Lake Erie Monsters weekend. Staff members, too. It was great to remember. Thanks to Leo Simone, Jeremy Hawks, the rest of our outstanding crew. For Brad Thiessen, I'm Tony Brown. Thanks to you for watching. This has been Monsters OT, presented by Century Federal Credit Union, only here on Rock Sports.